Every warrior in the Empire entered the beast chamber with trembling hands. The Emperor's living weapon, the Dravgor, a towering obsidian-furred monster with molten gold eyes, had shredded every handler ever assigned. Chains couldn't hold it, weapons couldn't tame it, fear couldn't control it. But when the final volunteer stepped forward, the beast paused. A human, small, unarmed, wearing nothing but a curious smile. The Emperor leaned forward on his throne. "Do you understand the risk, human?" he asked. The human just shrugged. "I've dealt with worse temper tantrums." And when he whispered two simple words, the galaxy changed forever. "Who's a good boy?" The beast stopped breathing and bowed.
The Dravgor towered inside its containment ring, its obsidian fur rippling with every heartbeat. Its claws, each the length of a gladius, scraped grooves into the reinforced floor. Smoke curled from its nostrils. 10 dead handlers lay memorialized in silent holograms along the walls, a warning to the next fool to try. But the human, Ren Carter, didn't flinch. He walked forward like he was approaching a stray dog on a street corner. Guards raised their rifles. "Human, keep your distance. That thing rips apart armored elites." Ren lifted a hand. "Relax. I'm just saying hi." Behind the energy barrier, the monster stalked, muscles coiling, a predator preparing to break through the shield and tear the intruder apart. The Emperor observed from his crystal throne, fingers steepled. "If the human dies, let it be quick. I grow tired of failures." Ren stopped exactly 6 feet from the shimmering barrier. The beast lunged, the shield flared, sparked a burst. The chamber shook, every guard took a step back. Ren didn't. Instead, he knelt. "You're not angry. You're scared, aren't you?" The Dravgor froze mid-growl, golden eyes widening. Ren smiled softly. "It's all right. I'm not here to hurt you." The beast cocked its head, confused. No one had ever spoken to it gently. No one had ever called it anything but monster, weapon, abomination. Ren reached out and tapped the barrier. "You're not a beast. You're lonely." Something inside the Dravgor broke. The fire in its eyes dimmed to something warmer. It pressed its snout against the barrier. Ren whispered, "Who's a good boy?" The monster, the same creature that had devoured warriors whole, sank to its knees. For the first time in Imperial history, it submitted, and the Emperor's eyes widened.
The Emperor rose from his throne, disbelief twisting his expression. "Deactivate the barrier." Gasps echoed across the chamber. "Your Majesty, that's suicide!" shouted a general. But the Emperor had already made his decision. Do it. The energy field dissolved with a crackle. The Dravgor could attack, it could kill, it could escape. Instead, it slowly crawled forward and nudged Ren's shoulder with a rumbling purr that shook the chamber walls. Ren laughed. "There you are!" Guards watched in terror, fingers trembling on triggers, but Ren stroked its muzzle like petting a giant wolf. "Hey buddy, want to get out of this cage?" The beast let out a low, mournful sound as if begging. Ren stood and gently tugged the chain still hooked to the creature's collar. "Let's take this off." In one fluid motion, the human unlatched the lock. The collar fell. The Dravgor inhaled sharply, then howled, a sound of freedom echoing through the palace. The Emperor whispered, "Impossible." Ren looked back at him. "You never trained it. You tortured it." The Emperor's eyes narrowed. "It is a weapon." Ren shook his head. "No, it's a living being that's been treated like a monster, and monsters become what you make them." The Dravgor stepped between Ren and the guards, protective, snarling at anyone who aimed a weapon. Ren placed a calming hand on its flank. "Easy, big guy." The beast instantly relaxed. The Emperor stared at the pair, the human and the monster, and for the first time in his reign, he wasn't sure who held the true power in the room. The chamber trembled with tension as the Dravgor positioned itself protectively in front of Ren. Its massive form blocked all lines of fire, obsidian fur bristling with silent menace. The guards, the generals, even the Emperor himself hesitated. No one had ever seen the creature choose anyone, let alone defend a human. The Emperor's voice sliced through the silence. "Human, step away from my weapon." Ren didn't flinch. "It's not your weapon. It never was." He stroked the Dravgor's neck, and the massive beast lowered its head, golden eyes softening. That simple gesture, gentle, trusting, made the Imperial court collectively swallow their fear. The Emperor clenched his fists. "You presume too much. The Dravgor is bound by Imperial decree. It obeys the Empire." Ren raised an eyebrow. "Funny, doesn't look like it's listening to you." Gasps, whispers. Fury flickered across the Emperor's face. "Seize him," the Emperor ordered sharply. 20 guards approached with plasma spears. The Dravgor's maw split open, revealing rows of molten teeth glowing like forged metal. It let out a roar that cracked the floor and shattered 2 helmets clean off. Every guard froze. Ren placed a hand on its muzzle. "It's okay. They're just scared." The beast rumbled, lowering its head slightly but keeping itself between Ren and danger. "Human," the Emperor hissed, "you have one chance. Command it to kneel before me." Ren laughed once, quietly. "You think this is about dominance, control, fear?" He stepped forward, eyes locked with the Emperor's. It kneeled for me because I treated it like a friend, not a weapon. The Emperor's composure cracked. You will pay for this sentimentality. Ren shrugged. Maybe. But at least someone finally treated it right. The Dravgor growled, a deep, seismic warning, eyes burning at the throne. For the first time in the Empire's long history, the Emperor looked afraid. The Emperor lifted his staff, an ancient relic humming with deadly energy. His core pulsed with enough power to vaporize a starship hull. The court stepped back in terror. Last warning, he snarled. Order it to obey. Ren sighed, rubbing his forehead. You really don't get it. He turned to the Dravgor. Hey, buddy, what do you want to do? The beast blinked, confused. No one had ever asked it anything. Then its gaze drifted to the scars etched across its own body, each one a memory of torture, shock, restraint. It inhaled trembling breaths, anger and pain blending into something raw. The Emperor pointed his staff. Creature, kneel, or I will rip the mind from your skull! The Dravgor's chest shook with a low, mournful growl. Ren stepped between it and the Emperor. Enough! If you hurt him, you'll have to go through me. The Emperor laughed bitterly. You think I won't? He thrust the staff forward. A blast of white-hot energy erupted, and the Dravgor moved faster than any creature its size should. It slammed its body in front of Ren, taking the full impact. A deafening boom filled the hall. Smoke, cracked stone. The beast's massive frame trembled, scorched but standing. Ren's eyes widened in horror. You protected me? Why? The Dravgor lowered its head and nudged Ren with a soft, desperate whine. It had made its choice. Ren clenched his fists. No more cages! He turned back to the Emperor, fire in his eyes. You're done hurting him! The Emperor snarled, readying another blast, but this time the guards held him back. Your Majesty, one whispered, voice trembling. If you fire again, it will kill you. Because the Dravgor was no longer afraid. It was angry. And it wasn't alone.
Ren pressed both hands against the Drazmor's massive chest, feeling the creature's labored breaths. Its wounds glowed ember red but were already knitting shut thanks to its advanced physiology. You all right, big guy? A soft rumble answered, painful but determined. Across the hall, the Emperor roared, seal the exits, kill the human, recover my weapon. The halls erupted into chaos. Ren turned to the beast. Buddy, time to go. Can you run? The Dravgor's molten eyes flared. It crouched low. All right, Ren whispered, let's fly. With a thunderous leap, the beast vaulted over the front row of guards, landing with a quake. Ren held tight to its fur as it accelerated down the palace corridor, smashing through doors reinforced with star steel. Blaster fire filled the air. The Dravgor zigzagged, dodging bolts that melted walls behind them. Ren shielded its eyes from sparking debris. You're doing great, Ren shouted. The beast responded with a triumphant roar. Dozens of guards blocked the next hall, energy shields raised. Ren patted the beast's neck. Jump! It didn't hesitate. The Dravgor bounded off the wall itself, springing over the blockade. Shocked guards looked up as a 5-ton monster sailed above their heads. Landing outside the palace, the night sky exploded with color. Capital city lights, flying skimmers, neon banners. Alarms wailed. Drones swarmed. Ren pointed to the industrial district. Over there, big tunnels, we can lose them. The Dravgor thundered across a bridge, smashing through a drone squadron with a swipe of its claws. Sparks rained against the skyline. The Empire had unleashed its deadliest creature. But it wasn't hunting. It was fleeing, with the one being it cared about.
The industrial tunnels rumbled as Ren and the Dravgor raced inside, leaving the glowing city behind. Massive machines throbbed with mechanical heartbeats, pipes dripping steam, shadows flickering like ghosts. Ren slid off the beast's back. Okay, I think we lost. A blast shook the tunnel. Then another. The Emperor's elite hunters, black-armored, augmented, merciless, marched forward in formation. At their center stood the Emperor himself, robes torn, staff crackling with violent energy. Earn all you like, he snarled. You cannot hide from the Empire. Ren placed a hand on the Dravgor. We're not hiding. The beast growled, stepping in front of Ren like a living shield. The Emperor slammed the staff on the ground. A shockwave of energy rippled outward, tearing pipes from walls. Hunters opened fire, bolts ripping through the tunnel like lightning. The Dravgor lunged into smashing into the first wave of hunters. Armor crumpled like tin foil. Ren ducked behind a fallen beam as explosions rocked the space. Buddy, on your left. The beast spun, tail whipping through the air, sending hunters flying. It planted itself beside Ren, snarling, defiant. The Emperor approached, staff pulsing brighter with each step. You think that creature cares for you? It was engineered to obey. It cannot feel loyalty. Ren stood tall. Then why is it standing between me and you? For the first time, the Emperor hesitated. He thrust his staff forward, but the Dravgor blocked it, jaws clamping around the weapon. Sparks exploded as beast and relic struggled. Ren rushed forward, grabbing the staff's core. The Emperor screamed as energy surged. Together, human and beast, they tore the weapon apart. The tunnel went silent. The Emperor collapsed, powerless. The Dravgor nudged Ren's shoulder gently. Together, they had won. Sunrise painted the distant city in gold as Ren and the Dravgor climbed a hillside far from the capital. The Empire was in chaos, rumors spreading of the Emperor's defeat, of a human who tamed the untamable,
of a beast that chose friendship over fury. Ren sat beside the massive creature, leaning against its warm fur. "You know," he murmured, "I didn't expect my day to end like this." The Dravgor rumbled softly, lowering its head into Ren's lap. Ren chuckled. "Yeah, you're a good boy." The beast's golden eyes shimmered with something unmistakable. Peace. For the first time in its life, it was free. Ren gazed at the horizon. "So, what now? We start over? Find a place no one hunts you?" The Dravgor gave a gentle nudge, as if saying, "Wherever you go, I go." Far behind them, imperial banners fell from towers, leaders argued, soldiers abandoned posts. Without fear, the empire was crumbling. Ren sighed. "Guess we changed more than just your life, huh?" The beast stretched, wings hidden until now, unfurling in a breathtaking cascade of obsidian feathers lined with glowing gold veins. Ren blinked. You have wings?" The Dravgor crouched low, inviting him onto its back. "You want to fly?" Ren laughed. Yeah, okay, let's fly." He climbed onto the creature, gripping its fur tightly. With a powerful leap, the Dravgor launched into the sky, wings catching the wind. They soared over mountains, cities, and rivers, leaving the old world behind. A new legend began that day. Not of a beast, not of a weapon, but a friendship powerful enough to topple an empire.